Hey everybody, Tommy here from Top Notch Media. I hope you're having a great day. So you just bought a camera and you see S on your camera and you're like, what's that? So that's shutter speed. Shutter speed is the length of the camera shutter opens, exposing the image sensor, okay? So if you take the lens off, every camera has an image sensor, and that is basically is what the light's gonna hit, okay? So it's measured in seconds or fractions of a second, along with aperture and ISO. It forms the exposure triangle, which we'll get into. I want to kind of just go through aperture, shutter speed, and ISO for you so it's easier to understand. But basically, that dictates how bright or dark your photos are, which is pretty awesome because then you can kind of see, well, my photo is completely black or it's completely white. So that helps. So if you, let's say you're doing a fast shutter speed, okay? So fast shutter speeds open and close quickly, letting less light in. That means that has the ideal for freezing fast action, such as sports, wildlife photography, like birds flying really quick, and just anything moving very, very fast. Because if you're shooting and you go to take a photo and you're like, well, how am I supposed to capture this? This thing's going like 20,000 miles an hour. And you're like, okay, right? That kind of what it is. Fast shutter speed for fast things. A slow shutter speed, these stay open a bit longer, okay? So it's allowing more light to get into your camera, and they're really great for low light situations. So if you're doing like, you know, nighttime photography, or let's say you're doing architecture photography and like there's low light, there's not that much daylight coming in or that much light. So it kind of, you have a little bit of less play to move around with, but that's why you have to open up the shutter more. But then it introduces motion blur. So when you have a slower shutter speed, because of the motion blur, photographers kind of use slower shutter speeds to create more creativity, to achieve more effects, like the silky smooth look for waterfalls and streaking car lights. As you can, if you go on my Instagram page, you can actually see I did a shot and I did some lights where like they look like they're moving. That's pretty much what it was. That's a slow shutter speed. But if you're holding your camera in your hands rather than using a tripod, okay? So let's say you're just like kind of and like, right? So if you're using a tripod, the general rule of thumb is to prevent blurry photos to having in your photos, right? If you take a photo and it's blurry, so a tripod is, you need a tripod. So basically it just stops that blurriness and camera shake because you're going to be shooting at a slower shutter speed, okay? So again, the faster shutter speeds are for if you're want to capture freeze frame. And then the slower shutter speed is if you're capturing like in the low light situations. So you have to remember that because a lot of people kind of don't understand shutter speed. So to make it in simple terms, what I just said, a fast shutter speed is for capturing something that's moving fast and you want to capture a freeze frame. And a slow shutter speed is basically if you're in a low light situation, you want to capture the stars, you want to kind of do it like that. Like I said, the car streaking where you get two cars looking like they're moving beside each other, but the subject itself is in frame, and pretty much anything like that. So if you have any questions, comment below, like and subscribe. I would love to hear from you guys. Again, this is a judgment-free. There's no one here to judge you. This is all because of love and fun of photography. I will catch you in the next video because we'll be talking about aperture. See you again.